Hi everyone and welcome back to Chess for Charity. In this video, I'm going to show you an incredible puzzle. I've reviewed many puzzles on this channel and I think this might be one of my favorites. So stick around and see the crazy moves throughout this entire puzzle. It's white to move. Take a moment or two if you'd like to try to find the answer, maybe the first few moves, maybe the big idea. Try your best to see how far you can get. It's a lot of fun and I really guarantee you it's quite rewarding. While you're thinking about the solution there, let me quickly also encourage you to subscribe if you have not yet already. Half of the income on this channel goes directly to charity, and we've given $1,100 so far, so thank you all so much if you've subscribed and all the participation that you guys do. Thank you. All right, let's get started here. I'm super excited. It's white to move here. Just to show the threat of what black is threatening, if you make a nothing move, maybe just a queen move, they have knight f6 mate because there's a lot of squares that are being covered, and this pawn is going down the board, which means that's covered, and of course this pawn is defended by the queen. A lot of good stuff there. So you have to address a threat, and it seems like there are a couple of obvious moves to start. So since you have to address this threat, if you were to take this knight, although that's a good idea because it removes that knight f6 mate, there's another mate. Bishop e2 is a pretty good one, right? So you can't just get away with taking something with the h-pawn. And the same applies to pushing, right? That's not going to do anything. You just pick your favorite way to mate. I think this is my favorite way to mate out of those two. So you can't move this h-pawn. So really your focus should immediately go to this a-pawn. And now is where the puzzle kind of begins. You have a couple of options. You can promote this pawn, or you can take and promote this pawn. And maybe you can throw a check in with the queen moves, but the a pawn is where your mind should be, because it seems like these squares are pretty obviously covered by the bishop and the rook. Okay, so what is the idea? Well, let's look at pawn takes bishop and we'll promote to a queen. Why not? So it almost looks like mate. It's not quite, because the rook can capture, the king can capture. If rook takes, you might think you have this kind of thing going, and that looks great. Hey, it's mate. No, it's not. There's a queen here, and you're get captured, right? And that hurts. So that is completely fine. You have material, but it's not going to be enough because that's check. I'm going to win that queen right back. Sweet. Okay, so that's the idea for why you can't capture this, because you're kind of just not doing anything. Now, what if you promote here to a queen? Seems sensible. It's a check, makes the king run away. This actually loses the game. This is one of the reasons why I love this puzzle. What an obvious looking move to attack the king with check and promotion to a queen, and it loses. King c8, what do? Well, the best line is to play b7 and try to run this king around the board. But surprisingly, after king e7, there really isn't anything to do. Like, you could promote to a knight if you want to keep the checks going, but they just take that, right? It's not going to do anything. Importantly, you got to take it with the knight and not the rook, because if you do take it with the rook, then there will be a draw. So just a lot of cool sidelines in this puzzle. So after this line of b7 and you run the king around, this is a drawn position because the king will just keep checking and there's not much that you can do. You can take here if you want. And now, actually, hold on a second. If they play here, no, this is black's winning actually. I think the draw was before if I promoted. Yeah, it was before when I promoted and they took with the rook. So black is winning in this position because they can pretty much run their king to safety and eventually execute that threat. So sorry about that. Just to make sure it's really clear, if this promotion goes, black will win with best play. If they make a blunder, like I was showing before with rook takes, that will lead to a draw. Okay, just want to clarify that. So what is the move then? Because it feels like that move is really obviously there, but it doesn't amount to anything. And this is where the stunning idea is present. So this is your last chance. If you want to pause the video, now is your last chance. The move is pawn promotes to a bishop. Now you might say to me, why a bishop? What is the point? Why would I purposely promote to an inferior piece when it functions the same? And those would be great questions. Let's talk about it. So if the king just continues and do the same thing you just did, pawn push again, and again, what's happening? Check. Where do they go? Well, make sure you're careful here. If they go to e8, this is going to be a loss because I can play h takes g8 queen, and then they have to take me, and now I get this nice little mate like that. Okay. So you need to be a little careful, but they're not going to do that. They're seeing the whole variation. Instead, king e7. And now, like before, what's the move? Is this just a draw? Do I just go back and forth? Well, here is where it just gets so cool. So in the study, they play king f8. You could play the other way as well. You could, in this position, if you'd like to, play king d7, but I think it's just going to repeat and go to the same thing. So king f8. Okay. What do you do here? What is the move? The move is queen takes g7. Now you might say, wait a second, what's the idea? I'm trying to stalemate myself, and you have to take it. If you walk away from this, you get mated. Oops, not that way. If you walk away from this, you get mated. Same idea. It was one move too fast. And if you take it, this is where the crux is. I'm stalemating myself. That's the idea. This bishop and pawn are completely immobile in the corner, and I promote here to a bishop again. Come on, that is so cool. Promoting to a bishop is the main idea because after the king either takes or walks away, and I'll show both variations, I play g7 check, and this is stalemate. And the same goes the other way around. You play this, g7, and no matter what the king does next, it is a draw. Now, why is this important? Because the queen would be able to move. If either of these was a queen, it'd be able to move, which means it would not be stalemate. So by promoting to a bishop, you're intentionally limiting your forces so that they can't move, and you stalemate yourself. It's just such a cool puzzle. Everything is covered here. This g7 move, by the way, is really cool because it also blocks off this square for yourself. And that's it. There's nothing you can do. So how rare is this puzzle? You see a bishop promotion, running the king around the board, blocking your own pieces in, checking the king around, sacrificing the queen, promoting to another bishop just to give up a final pawn and stalemate yourself. I absolutely love this puzzle. Hopefully you do too. If you haven't seen one like this before, let me know. You probably have seen one on my channel by now because these are the ones I tend to like. But yeah, that is it for now. If you enjoy it, let me know. Give me some feedback. I love interacting with the community. You are all very awesome. But that is it. Thank you so much. Bye.